Good morning everybody and welcome back to the LEGO Legend of Zelda Custom Set Showcase Wave 3, where today we're taking a look at Z0036 with 459 pieces. It is the Silent Realm Trial from Skyward Sword, and this is another awesome little playset that I'm really pleased with, and actually I loved it so much that I went out and bought the pieces for the Land Guardian. So that's another video you'll be seeing here on the channel very soon of me building him in real life because I think he's just perfect. But moving on with the custom set, you can see our beautiful purple box art over on the left, as well as a big action scene with the Silent Realm Guardians woken up. This is for ages 8 and up with 459 pieces retailing for 35 Great British pounds and containing 4 brick-built characters, one of which is a minifigure. Let's quickly read our description and then we'll get into the custom set. So, join Link as he ventures into the Silent Realm. You decide if he returns victorious or if the Watchers find him. Hunt for the 3 tiers, but beware the waking water and the guardians that spring into the air. Avoid the Watcher's gaze to collect the 3 tiers and gain the sacred gift. Now, while that sacred gift may not be included in this set, the tiers certainly are. But before we can see those, let's open up our box, where we will find 4 numbered bags and 1 square instruction manual. If we open up our instruction manual, we will find that bag 1 builds all of our little Silent Realm creatures. So we have the Land Guardian, the Sky Guardian, and the Watcher. Bag 2 starts on our landscape. Bag 3 builds our good friend Link and continues our landscape. And bag 4 does the little hill on the top and finishes off the build. And here is that build all built up. Let's go through all the features one by one. So, taking away all the creatures, you can actually get a better look at the landscape. Now, the color scheme here, we are using sand green. No, we're not. We're using sand blue, turquoise, sand green for the trees, and dark blue for leaves, as well as a bit of trans blue, medium blue, and a couple other accents where colors weren't available. Obviously, there's waking water, which is done in the bright purple, and this is definitely a more extreme take on the Silent Realm color palette. Now, while the Silent Realm color palette is very negatively colored and very blue hues, this is taking it to a more extreme level, which I think works really well for this as a custom set. Now, one thing to note is that all of these pieces are actually available in these colors, meaning that one day, hopefully, I might be able to build this one in real life. Focusing up close, you have these 2 little sloped areas, and obviously I forgot to mention this is actually based off the Farron Silent Realm, and these are supposed to represent the light tiers, which make the tiers really visible. Light fruit, I think they're called. And apart from that, you've got a variety of different wedge slopes and cheese slopes that lead up to various different platforms. This set is largely inspired by the Minecraft Nether. Now here we can see our first tier laying on the ground next to this tree. This tree build is a snot technique tree using some sand green slopes and curved arches, as well as some cheese slopes and some tiles on the floor, while it is next to a stone path made out of sand blue stones in round tiles. The tier piece is a new mold for this wave of custom LEGO Legend of Zelda sets, and it is in this shape, which is slightly different from the actual tiers, so it can be reused later on in another set. Up in the tree branches, you can see those dark blue big leaves, which appeared in the Welcome to the Hidden Side set, and then the turquoise smaller leaves, which actually appeared in the Torpedo Ted Mario character pack, as well as a couple of other sets. Overall, a very small tree build to give that foresty atmosphere. Moving towards the center, you can see there is a large open space, and I deliberately designed this so that you can have fun posing Link and the Guardians as they chase after him, and just to give them a bit more space to move around, because in comparison to this set, the Guardians are actually pretty big. Now, here is one of our big play features. We can have our Guardian almost not here, and he's sort of laid down, and we're sort of pretending that he's not present at the moment, like he's not chasing after Link. And I know they don't lay down in the game, but I didn't want him to be standing up because his face print's always going to show as angry and awake. When you step in the waking water and press down on this plate, so if Link pushes down on this plate, it automatically springs our Guardian friend up, awake for the entire world to see, and he is ready to chase after Link. And that can be seen very clearly here. We'll take a proper look at our Guardian friend later on in the video, but he is designed just like he is in the game, using articulated arms and legs, as well as his club baton piece. An alternate face would be provided for him sleeping, which is just a print on a pentagonal tile. Moving over to this little lever here, which is over on the other side of the open field. This turned the Watcher, and the Watcher spinned in a very similar fashion to the Minecraft bees in the bee farm set. And our Watcher build again we'll take a look at later, but he is spinning around a central point, and in the center of that point is the second of our three tiers. Now, obviously to collect that, you have to avoid the Watcher, and if you're spinning the knob, the Watcher is going to turn and spot Link. And you can see there that he turns around and circles. Moving on to our cliff, this is where a lot of the pieces go to create this like rocky like outcrop. This is again based off the Fair and Silent realms, so you can imagine that this is just sort of one of those elevated areas, and it has a big tree sprawling out of the side with more leaves. There are also a couple of little turquoise tooth overhangs, sort of representing like grass, like hanging over the edges, and I think that's really, really cool. The tree is again built out of sand green slopes and curved slopes with some leaves in various shades of blue growing up the side. In the top, there is another platform with a jumper plate for our third tier, as well as a hole for our Sky Guardian and the play feature attached to him, which you can see here. Here is our Sky Guardian demonstrating the off face point, so when it is all peaceful, and he is guarding the tier. But if you were spotted by the Watcher, or if your time ran out, then you can push down on this little lever behind the back, and he will spring out. Now, while he doesn't look awake yet, we can change out the transparent cones at the bottom, which is what launches him to his like metal scythes, so he can go chasing. And that's actually everything in the custom set. There are quite a lot of brick built details, but those are the main play features. So let's take a look at the other part of the play features, which is obviously the imaginative play put onto the minifigures. First up, we have the Negative Blues Link, as I'm calling him, and that is Link from Skyward Sword in the Silent Realm. You can see that once again the palette is an accentuated version of what actually appears in game, where in the game it's still more of a greeny with some shimmers. I chose to go simplistic and just recolor the entire Link figure into a shade of sand blue and light aqua for the flesh tones. His boots are in a more grey tone, or I suppose that could be a dark blue depending on which way you see it, and his belt buckle is still as shiny as ever. I really like the negative colours Jack from the Hidden Side line in 2019's Welcome to the Hidden Side, and I took inspiration for that here when I was designing the negative colours Link. Moving on, we have the Guardian, as it's known, and this is the Skyward Sword Guardian, not the Breath of the Wild Guardian, and he is built in a very similar fashion to most like mechs almost. He has some arm joints using 1x1 bars, which use some wedge plates to sort of create his like dress, fabric folds that go near his like upper arms and upper legs in the grey sections. He has a print on a 2x4 tile and on the 1x2x2 pentagonal tile. His weapon is in this set grey instead of white, and that is mostly to colour contrast against his hands, which are just modified bricks, and he has a lightsaber hilt sticking out the bottom. His ears are represented with teeth, and he has little toes on the bottom of his feet, and as I mentioned earlier, full articulation. Next up, we have the Sky Guardian, also from Skyward Sword, and I've already mentioned that you can exchange the transparent pillar, which allows him to sit in his off position, to his scythe, which he carries around. Now, while he doesn't have his hands, I thought it was important to make sure that this guy could be transformed in just one step, rather than by like rearranging the arm panels or swapping them out or something. And once again, he's using a wedged slope for his face, with two ears pointing out the side. He has some rounded slopes at the top, and then he's using those big wedges, which I associate with mixels, on the front and sides to create his short cloak. And then he's actually using scimitars from Pharaoh's Quest to represent his swords. And our last figure is the Watcher from Skyward Sword, not from Marvel, and he is the one that can alert the Guardians to Link's presence even if his time hasn't run out. He's using a recolor of the Witch's Hat, the only piece that isn't available in this set in current times, to round off his top, and that is a recolor, as I mentioned. He has a 1x1 sticker on his face for his eye, which is just a red circle on a black tile, and he is carrying a paint roller in black, and he's actually carrying like a what do we call it, the cannibal hair piece that allows you to put a bone in the top, which sort of creates a lantern shape which has a stud on the underneath. He has some printing on some 1x1 cut off slopes, and then he's just rounded out with some tiles and plates. Overall, a awesome figure lineup for this custom set. And that's actually going to do it for Z0036, Silent Realm Trial. For me, this is another example of a really, really nice £40 playset with lots of features, lots of imaginative play, and that actually doesn't look too bad on display. Not to mention, it also includes some nice pieces for some fans, with a lot of sand blue, turquoise, and sand green included in this one. The Guardians are figures that I really hope do actually appear, or at least in their Skyward Sword forms, in the real LEGO Legend of Zelda line whenever that happens. And although I think it's fairly unlikely that we'll ever actually see them, which is why it's nice that I've been able to do them here, and I'm really, really pleased with how they came out in Pacifics as characters. While I'm aware that there's probably quite a lot of empty space or the build isn't too interesting, I was really pleased with the integration of the waking water feature to make the Guardian wake up, the ejection flying mechanism for the Sky Guardian, and the fact that the Watcher can turn in a repetitive little pattern, as well as the inclusion of the tears. Actually, that's really cool as well. And I've always wanted the opportunity to do the negative colors link. I don't know why, but I'm really, really pleased with this one, and I actually really like the square 40 box as well. So let me know what you guys thought about this one down below, what your favorite aspect of this build was, as well as how let me know what you think about the Guardians. I've been waiting to show this one for a really, really long time, and as I mentioned, stay tuned on the channel for building the Land Guardian in real life. I've already done it. It's really, really cool, and I hope you stick around for that. So maybe consider subscribing. I know, it's a big thing to ask. Either way, let's talk about next week. And next week, again, we're continuing our trend of excitement as we move to the gift with purchase for the wave. Now, you may be thinking that's a very large piece number for a gift with purchase for Z0038, but trust me, although you might be able to guess what this is, it looks really cool on display, and I hope you come back to see it. So, as I said earlier, let me know your thoughts on this week's custom set down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.